Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Naveen, Krishna, Prabhu and family for inviting us here today to our humble home. And thank you all for coming on this very auspicious day. Although some temples and some devotees are not familiar with this event, maybe today is not always recognized as much perhaps as we could, and I would advise should also, because it is by recognition, hearing about us and glorification of the Vaishnavas, appropriate, proper glorification, not artificial flattery, but that which is real, not simply eulogy, but they're solid facts about the, let's say, the service of great Vaishnavas. Their qualities cannot be hidden, although they may themselves try to deny or cover. They can't be hidden. Naveen Prabhu, do you have Chaitanya Charitamrita in your home?
Yes.
Can you? I can't remember. It's my fault, but I can't remember which volume. It's the volume where Lord Chaitanya goes to Vrindavan, in Chaitanya, where he actually visits Vrindavan.
Would you like me to get the Chaitanya, the condensed version, which only has like
Condensed version, I don't know what the condensed version means. I need the one with the Bengali. I don't know if you mean, when you say condensed, what do you mean?
It doesn't have the Bengali.
No, it must have the Bengali. Lord Chaitanya visits Vrindavan, perhaps it's volume 7 or something, I don't know. Because today is a very, most of you probably know what I've given a clue just now in the Prema Dwani. What is it today? What is the event today? What is the special event on our calendar today?
Madhya 17, Maharaj.
Pardon?
I've got it here on the, do you want to
Oh,
see
chapter 17, yeah?
Yeah, Madhya.
I'd like to get the book,
Yeah.
because if they've got the book, I'll take the book. But they can tell Madhya chapter 17. Chapter 17, thank you. Who knows what the event is today?
Disappearance.
Jayananda.
Well, you were there for the class this morning. You gave the game away. Yes, it is the day when we honour the disappearance day of Jayananda Thakur. And again, there are many great souls in ISKCON, and there are many great souls, unlimited great souls, who appear in this world also. And in recent times there are also many great souls who have appeared. What's the volume? Oh, this is the new series. Okay, good. Excellent. So I'm going to look up a verse because all of us, we don't perhaps have. I don't know if anybody here ever met Jayananda Prabhu. Probably not. You've probably heard about him. I would hope so. Anyway. Chapter 17, text 166. Okay. Jayananda Prabhu was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, or is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And he left this world on May the 1st, 1977. Just a few months before Srila Prabhupada left this world. And he left the world very gloriously in New Dwarka, that's Los Angeles. Just at the conclusion of Mangalarti. We discussed that this morning. Won't get into any more details on the details of that. Many devotees who knew him, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, Mukunda Maharaj, so many great souls who were present there in Los Angeles. Many of them joined, in San Francisco. He joined in San Francisco in 1967, Jayananda Prabhu. And right from the word go, he was like the foundation of the temple. Basically, he was the lone financer of the temple. He would drive a taxi in order to make money for the temple. Sometimes he'd drive like 16 hours a day as well as temple services, just to make enough money so the temple could perform or continue with its activities that went on for some time. He was tireless, selfless, personification of humility, tolerance, compassion, you name it. All good qualities, practically speaking, were manifest in Jayananda Prabhu. And they were recognized by Srila Prabhupada again and again. He was the first one to give a significant donation for the printing of the Bhagavad Gita. He had some savings. He gave all of his life savings to Prabhupada for the printing of the Bhagavad Gita, $5,000. And even in his last days, when his health was deteriorating, he had leukemia, he gave whatever money he had been gotten for his health to Srila Prabhupada when he realized there's no more need to keep this body. It's not going to survive. Those days were perhaps not quite so developed in various techniques, but he just decided that he's not going to continue anyway. So he gave everything then to Prabhupada also. But he's probably most recognized in ISKCON among so many other wonderful services, everything from the most menial service you can imagine in the movement to, leading out big Harinam parties, traveling with the Radha Damodar party, being temple president. He never wanted a position. He would do whatever his authorities asked him to do. But most likely the most significant, you could say, single most service which he's most famous for in our society, and again something which every devotee should be aware of in our movement, is the Rath Yatra festival. Now Rath Yatras are taking place, I don't know how many cities all over the world, but you're having a Rath Yatra here in a few weeks, is that correct? Just in Paramount, just up the road here. And there's Rath Yatras in different places, in Brisbane. I don't know if we have one, and of course at New Governor itself. I don't know if we have one on the Gold Coast anymore, do we? Or
Yeah.
Byron Bay.
They started
Did it?
doing it
Gold
very-
Coast, Toowoomba, so many going up there now.
Oh, going on. They've started up
Sunshine
again.
Coast.
Okay, because they stopped for a while.
They're doing it in Melbourne too.
Melbourne, of course, has them. A few here in Sydney, maybe a few others here in Australia and different places. And in different parts of the world, all over the world, there are Rath Yatras going on. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. And Delhi city alone has at least 20 Rath Yatras in a year. And Malaysia, it's a Muslim government, but it's not like very radical or anything. But they have, at the moment we're averaging 35 Rath Yatras per year in Malaysia. Big or small. And in many places. In England now, I think this year we have 25 Rath Yatras in England this year. Okay. But there are hundreds, I don't know how many. In India there's probably well in excess of 400, I would imagine. 300 to 400 in India every year. Maybe more. There may be something like 1,000 Rath Yatras worldwide now. Something like that. There's a lot anyway. And this is one of Prabhupada's greatest desires. He had, his greatest desire was to see everyone go back to God. But to facilitate that, Rath Yatra is so important. Festivals are very important. Tomorrow is Nrsimha Chaturdasi. Monday is the appearance or disappearance, I'm not sure, of Madhya. These festivals are extremely important. Sometimes Prabhu would indicate that our temples are really meant to put on festivals. One time he said, I could give you a festival every day to honor. We very much wanted. Of course our program is like a festival in one sense, temple program. But it can be much more. There are so many events, because festivals, we see, practically speaking, they draw people. Especially if there's good feast and some whatever it is, some balanced program to both present whatever the festival represents, plus other side events which help to engage people, maybe for the children or whatever it is, dramas, sometimes some little bit connected with Krishna consciousness, some cultural presentation and so on, whatever it is. Different types of festivals are there. Janmashtami, I guess that's the busiest day in the temple, isn't it? It is in most temples of ISKCON. I don't know, in Sydney you still have it in a hall, or you have it at the temple?
We have different places. Yeah, a temple and then the halls as well, different suburbs.
Many people come, same everywhere, even at the Governor. So many people come at Janmashtami, isn't it?
Our busiest festival is Rath Yatra.
Pardon?
Our busiest festival is Rath Yatra.
Rath Yatra. Well, in one sense Rath Yatra is the biggest in many places. Depends where you are. Depends how you judge how many people. It's like in cities like Calcutta, how many people come for the Rath Yatra. Most of them are on the street, they just happen to be there. Hundreds of thousands of people. So that's true. Rath Yatra is the greatest numbers. The temple festivals, probably Janmashtami is the biggest, isn't it? In London, the Bhaktivedanta Manor, anything up to 80,000 people come over the Janmashtami weekend.
Oh,
Over the weekend. There's not all there at once, but there's 10,000, 20,000 there sometimes at one time. So many people. There are huge pandals over acres and acres of ground. So, it's just like professionally organised. They've been doing it for so long. Down to the T. They have at least 800 full-time volunteers for the Janmashtami every year. That's just volunteers to organise.
oh my God.
It's one way of responding, I suppose. Yeah, it's quite a big event, and they plan for months on end. It's like, for us, it's nothing. We see Kumbh Mela festival. Some of you may have been to the Kumbh Mela. Allahabad, how many people attend?
30 million.
Sometimes up to 30 million over the period of time, and some days there's millions on one day there.
Yeah, the year I was there, on the morning of Avasha, there was 30 million people there.
On one day. My God. It's almost unbelievable, isn't it? How can 30 million people... How do they count that?
Satellite imagery.
You have styles that you go through or something? Satellite, yeah. Anyway, there's a heck of a lot of people at one festival. It's almost unimaginable, isn't it?
But they said for one day it was the biggest city in the world.
Yeah, it would have been 30 million. I won't get into it. I better be careful what I say here. I start telling a few figures which are inconceivable. Anyway. These are conceivable. I mean, the biggest city in the world is probably 25 million people or something. Mexico City or Sao Paulo or Tokyo or somewhere like that. Mega cities. But a heck of a lot of people. They draw people. People are coming in. And in spiritual festivals, our temples are like that too. Every temple is like a magnetic, as is magnetic. Festivals are so wonderful. So I really learned with these festivals. The Madhavendra is it appearance or disappearance?
Appearance day.
Appearance day on Monday. Okay, thank you. And I remember I was in South Africa on that day, just sometime after the Rath Yatra, quite a few years ago now. And they have a massive Rath Yatra there in Durban. Some of you may have been there. Fantastic Rath Yatra. And I guess it just happened sometime, just a few weeks ago maybe. But we were there for Madhavendra Pura's appearance day. It was such fun. We had a program in a big congregation area. There was a lot of congregation. It wasn't in the temple. So much fun, just involving everybody. Everyone in the audience was a part of the festival. With dramas and prasadam and kirtan. Everything focused on Madhavendra Puri. It's the idea. And we tend to the material festivals are focused usually on us, me, like birthdays. Is anyone's birthday today? I mean, in our assembly here. Of course, it's probably someone on this planet has a birthday today, most likely. Probably a few million people have birthdays today. May the 2nd today, is that the date today? Yes. So there's millions of people who have birthdays today. Even in Sydney there's probably thousands. But no one here has a birthday today. But when you have a birthday, especially, the tendency is that, materially speaking, that the emphasis is on me, isn't it? On them, so to speak. You're like in the centre. The little prince or princess, you know. Everyone's bringing you gifts, cards. You expect people to send you things when it's your birthday at certain stages, and sometimes we judge each other accordingly to the nature of the card or the gift that they give you or don't give us or whatever it may be. But it puts us in the centre. Now, those type of festivals are also, in one sense, natural, but traditionally it will be a little different in a certain sense. For instance, on a birthday, we can see on Krishna's birthday, what does Krishna do? What does Krishna do on his birthday?
Have a good time.
Pardon?
Have a good time.
He has a good time every day, of course. Every day is a birthday for Krishna in one sense. But what does he specifically do on his actual birthday, besides having a good, well, it's also a good time? What? Maybe many things. Can you think of one thing?
Charity.
Charity. He gives charity. Maybe others may give. Giving and receiving are natural reciprocations. But the emphasis is on that on one's birthday one gives charity. Not that you sit there waiting for people, what's coming next, you know. And that's the whole essence. You can say the festival is giving. Of course, others receive. Now, isn't that fun? Now imagine if there are 365 people in the village and they have their birthdays on different days. Every day you're going to get a gift. Isn't that fun? Well, there's one day a year. But, yeah. Krishna would give charity. Festivals are giving. temples are forgiving. Forgiving and forgiving. Interesting. It's the same word, just broken into two. For they are forgiving Krishna consciousness and also forgiving, in a sense. But forgiving Krishna consciousness in various ways, in ways that people can actually digest. This is the business of the, let's say, the spiritual head of society, is to try to guide everyone towards Krishna consciousness in various ways. Different festivals are there. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes at some length summaries of festivals of various kinds, social festivals, traditional festivals, festivals like weddings, different festivals for children at different stages of their growth, and then there are festivals for different types of samskaras, for initiation, and so on and so forth, and there are festivals recognizing appearances, disappearances of great personalities, and there are festivals in relationship with the Supreme Person, maybe seasonal festivals. So many festivals are there. But the purpose of all of them is to gradually bring, maybe quickly, but to bring people towards the ultimate goal, so we can enter into the eternal festival in the spiritual realm. And temples especially have this wonderful opportunity to put on festival after festival so that people never ever forget it. Even now, 20 years after being in this Namhat program in South Africa, every time anyone I meet from that program says, I'll never forget that evening, that program. Because they were part of it. They weren't a spectator. Festival means you are, or we are, a part of it. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We're not impersonalists. We're not just neutral stage, just watching. We're meant to get in there. Just like any activity, sport, take for instance sport, okay? Most of the people are spectators, spectators maybe, but the real action is when you're in the game, playing. We've got to get in the fire. We're supposed to be putting fires out, but now we're getting into the fire. Can you save us if we get in the fire? Do you mind if we get in the fire of Krishna consciousness? Are you going to put that one out? We want to put the fire of material existence out. And that way to do that is to get into the fire of Krishna consciousness. Don't just sit around like some kind of weekenders. Not like a religionist, you sit there. Blah, blah, blah. Get into it. Participate actively. Spread this movement or just whatever it is. Well, you don't need firefighters at the moment, do we? It seems like the material nature is pouring rain on everything. This is wonderful weather. It's been raining on and off for weeks, hasn't it?
Yes.
Amazing. Is it now flooded at New Govardhan? Have you heard the
They're
news?
up to 6 metres last night.
Up 6 meters.
Yeah.
Ooh. Above the bridge.
About 4.5 metres above the bridge.
Wow. That's what, about 15 feet, isn't it? 15. The bridge was 15 feet underwater last night. What it will be tonight, we don't know. That's quite high. You can't drive through that.
What happened to the cows?
Hopefully the cows are safe on high land. They have high land.
Yeah, hopefully they ran up the mountain.
Well, hopefully the devotees look after them and put them on high land. That's their duty to do that, isn't it? Yeah, they have to do that. First priority, cows. The cows have to be looked after. Top priority. Service to the cows is the topmost service, practically speaking, amongst living entities. Anyway, festivals. Wonderful festivals where we remember those personalities. Because by remembering those personalities, just like we remember people in this material world, some things that have meant things to us, their impressions in our consciousness, and they keep popping up, and they keep affecting us in various ways, or even if they personality, then let's say the particular result of the association does, whatever it may be. And this keeps clouding our consciousness. We cleanse it out by association. And one of the ways to associate is to hear about great persons. Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes this, that in Bhakti Alok, one of his many wonderful writings, by hearing about the devotees, the pure devotees of the Lord, and by hearing about their teaching and pastimes, their actual behavior and so on, one develops courage, determination and satisfaction. You could term it differently, confidence, enthusiasm, like that. But these qualities which are basically required for our spiritual progress, by associating with devotees who are living personifications of devotional service, we naturally become purified, and those, at least the desire to follow in their footsteps, the desire to also be, let's say, a recipient of that mercy and naturally manifest those qualities, can develop within our hearts. So it's very important not just to let them go as if they're nothing, too busy doing something else, but to recognize these great devotees and hear about them whenever possible on these appearance and disappearance days. And if a festival can be arranged, all the better, but at least to hear about them is such a powerful form of purification. It's even more, to hear about Krishna is usually his name, form, qualities and pastimes is emphasized so many times. But as she said, to hear about the devotees can be more effective than that, because Krishna is more pleased when his devotees are glorified than when he himself is glorified. A very important point to recognize. So today on Jayananda Prabhu's Disappearance Day, we have a program this morning, so I'm not going to go into detail. But he was the one who basically established the Rath Yatra festivals on a grand scale in America. And it spread, of course it was small scale when he first started in '67 in San Francisco, but he developed it on a grand scale and was, practically speaking, on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. It's like Prabhupada's Rath Yatra now. And even Prabhupada wrote, after his departure, that, I don't know if he wrote that, but he indicated, we were told by those who knew, but Prabhupada said that on every Rath Yatra cart, the picture of Jayananda Prabhu should be there, at the front of the cart. He did write that a day should be set aside to honor Jayananda Prabhu in our society. So that's this day today. And it was supposed to be, maybe we'd never known much, but there are books about him. Several of those, there's Radha Damodar Vilas, there's Jayananda Thakur, maybe a few others have been compiled as well. Mukunda Maharaj is, he had so much, so Mukunda Maharaj was the temple. He was there in San Francisco. He was basically the head of the temple there in San Francisco when Jayananda Prabhu joined. But Jayananda, Tamal Krishna said he knows no one in this movement. That's at that time particularly, who brought more people to Krishna consciousness than Jayananda. Everyone he met, he couldn't help but becoming attracted. Even the most fallen people, drunkards, criminals, you name it, he would touch the heart of everybody. Arch materialists. He had his magnetic, he was just a living example of what Prabhupada said, a devotee should be a perfect gentleman. And I'm going to read something now because it links in with Monday's festival, Madhavendra Puri. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is on his way travelling to Vrindavan. One of his desires to visit Vrindavan. But he comes to the house of this Brahmin in Mathura. And the Brahmin, I'll go back a few verses, I'll just read the English. When he approached Mathura and saw the city, Lord Chaitanya immediately fell to the ground and offered obeisances with great ecstatic love. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered the city of Mathura, he took his bath at Vishwanghat. He then visited the birthplace of Krishna and saw the deity named Keshavji. He offered his respectful obeisances to this deity. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted, danced and made loud vibrations, all the people were astonished to see his ecstatic love. One Brahmin fell at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then began to dance with him in ecstatic love. The two of them danced in ecstatic love and embraced each other. Raising their arms, they said, "Chant the holy names of Hari and Krishna." All the people then began to chant, "Hari, Hari," and there was a great uproar. The priest in Lord Keshava's service offered Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu a garland. When the people saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dancing and chanting, they were struck with wonder, and they all said, "Such transcendental love is never an ordinary thing." The people said, "Simply by seeing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, everyone is maddened with love of Krishna. Indeed, everyone is laughing, crying, dancing, chanting and taking the holy name of Krishna. Certainly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in all respects the incarnation of Lord Krishna. He has come to Mathura to deliver everyone." After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the Brahmin's side. Sitting in a solitary place, the Lord began to question him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "You are an elderly Brahmin. You are sincere, and you are advanced in spiritual life. Where from have you gotten this transcendental opulence of ecstatic love for Krishna? Where have you got it from? Did you buy it in Coles? Or Woolworths?" When I asked my mother, "Where did I come from, Mother?" she said, "We bought you in Woolworths." So the next time I went to Woolworths, I said, "Mummy, where's the baby store? Where are the babies? I don't see any." Then she had to make up another story. Now, where does ecstatic love come from? Okay, we understand. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kavanai. Shravanadi Shuruchiti Kali Udai. The love is in our heart. It's already there. The nature of the soul is love for Krishna, covered over right now. But just like we take, for instance, wood. Anything wood here besides my head? Any other wooden items here? We've got this cabinet here. Inside that cabinet is fire. Can you see it?
No.
Is it manifested? Not manifested. How does it become manifest?
It's important.
You have to set it alight. You have to set it.
Yes. So what sets it alight?
Fire.
Fire. It has to come in contact with fire. When we come in contact with fire, we can also become like fire. And Prabhupada says it's like putting an iron rod into the fire. Iron rod is not fire exactly, but when it comes into the fire,
It turns like fire.
it turns into like fire, exactly.
And when you put it in ice, it turns as cold as ice.
Yes, so by association, it becomes affected. So the living entity also. Lord Kapila Dev describes that the greatest entanglement, the living entity, is our attachment to this material world. When that same attachment is transferred to the self-realized souls, that attachment becomes the cause of our liberation from this world. Frees us. When it's turned towards materialistic persons, that's the greatest entanglement within this material world. They become covered over. They become completely absorbed in material life. Mahat sevam dwaram ahori mukte tamo dwaram yoshitam sanghi sangam. The service of the great souls, Mahat sevam dwaram ahori mukte, is the gate which opens the door to liberation. But the opposite, to associate Sri Sangam or Yoshitam, to associate with materialistic persons, with it, not necessarily for the sake of giving Krishna. Association means to actually associate on their terms, basically, is the gateway to Modwaram Yoshitam Sanghi Sangam. Causes living entity becoming tangled and fall into the deep, dark well of material existence, down into darkness. So by association, this is possible. The Brahmin replied, Lord Chaitanya said, where have you got this opulence of ecstatic love from? And where is it coming? And he said, His Holiness, Srila Madhavendra Puri came to the city of Mathura while he was on tour. While at Mathura, Sripad Madhavendra Puri visited my home and accepted me as a disciple. He even took lunch at my home. After installing the deity of Gopal, Srila Madhavendra Puri rendered him service. That very deity is still being worshipped at Govardhan Hill. As soon as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about Madhavendra Puri's relationship with the Brahmin, he immediately offered obeisances at the Brahmin's feet. The Supreme Personality of Godhead offered obeisances at the Brahmin's feet. And we'll find out why. Becoming fearful, the Brahmin also immediately fell at the Lord's feet. The Lord was in sannyas, taking the role of a sannyasi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you are on the platform of my spiritual master, and I am your disciple. Since you are my spiritual master, it is not befitting that you offer me obeisances. Because Madhavendra Puri was he? Who was he in relationship with Lord Chaitanya?
Spiritual master, spiritual master.
The grand spiritual master. He was the Madhavendra Puri was the spiritual master of Ishvara Puri, who was the official spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya. So he's the god brother of Ishvara Puri. Basically, he's seeing him like that. He's seeing him like that. He may not have been initiated, but he's seeing him like that. Upon hearing this, the Brahmin became afraid. He then said, why do you speak like this? You are a sannyasi. Upon seeing your ecstatic love, I can just imagine you must have had some relationship with Madhavendra Puri. This is my understanding. This kind of ecstatic love can be experienced only when one has a relationship with Madhavendra Puri. Without him, even a scent of such transcendental ecstatic love is impossible. Balabhadra Bhattacharya, he was Lord Chaitanya's servant, assisting him on his travels. Then explained the relationship between Madhavendra Puri and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. After hearing this, the Brahmin became very pleased and began to dance. The Brahmin then took Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home, and out of his own free will began to serve the Lord in various ways. He asked Balabhadra Bhattacharya to cook for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lunch. At that time the Lord, smiling, spoke as follows. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Madhavendra Puri has already taken lunch at your place. Therefore you may cook and give me the food. That is my instruction. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. Whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. The Brahmin belonged to the Sanatiya Brahmin community, and the sannyasi does not accept food from a Brahmana. Although the Brahmin belonged to the Sanatiya community, Srila Madhavendra Puri had seen that he behaved like a Vaishnava and had therefore accepted him as his disciple. The food he had cooked had also been accepted by Madhavendra Puri. Therefore Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu willingly requested food from the Brahmin, and the Brahmina, feeling natural humility, began to speak as follows. He said, "It is a great fortune for me to offer you food. You are the Supreme Lord, and being in the transcendental position, you are not restricted in any way. Foolish people will blaspheme you, but I shall not tolerate the words of such mischievous people." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, "The Vedas, Puranas, and great learned sages are not always in agreement with one another. Consequently, there are different religious principles. And then a very, very famous, important verse spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there's a massive purport, massive long purport to that verse. Dharma stapana hetu sadurva vyavahara puri gosanya ye acharana se dharma sara. A devotee's behavior establishes the true purpose of religious principles. The behavior of Madhavendra Puri Goswami is the essence of such religious principles. This is the key verse. I don't know, what is the time now? 3:30?
Yes.
What is the schedule? I have another program to go to before the evening. And this evening we have a very, very golden opportunity. Please let everybody know. Haribol. Nice to see you. We have a golden opportunity this evening. It's really important point and subject matter. As you most likely are aware, this year is the 50th anniversary of Srila Prabhupada's coming to the Western world. He left Vrindavan, so to speak, as far as location is concerned, and travelled from India to the West to establish, or not to see, with that, and I say that, you can say, it sounds a bit, maybe a bit, to fulfill his spiritual master's instruction. It took place 50 years ago this year. So this evening at Radha Gopinath Madhya, we're going to make a very simple amateur, without a doubt, presentation on Srila Prabhupada's journey, the significance of this to all the world, the mood, the mission, this evening. So please come along if you can. We'll start at 7:30, invite everybody. It's very important. It's the foundation of our movement. This presentation, for me, is the basic, is the foundation of my existence. And without Prabhupada's coming, we would not be here today. There would be no Radha Gopinath temple. There would be no western suburbs and community in Sydney or anywhere else come to them. There would be no Hare Krishna movement outside of whatever pockets are there in India. There would be no knowledge of Krishna. There would be no Sankirtan outside of India. There would be nothing. No farms, no restaurants, no prasadam, nothing. Where we be, we do not know. We certainly wouldn't be here. So it's a very significant event. There would be no ISKCON if Prabhupada hadn't made that journey to America. We could look at many different answers to if this had not happened, this wouldn't have happened. But this journey is very significant. And his arrival in America is the first time, as far as I know, a Vaishnava preacher had come to America. Some had come to Europe, but not America, as far as I know. And it was basically the first time that someone came to really establish anything solid outside of Greater India. And it was by Prabhupada's and Jayananda Prabhu today, Tirubal, by his behavior, that he's so glorified all over the world now, ISKCON. He's like an acharya practically. We aspire to follow in his footsteps. He taught by example, as Prabhupada taught by example. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following commentary on this passage. A sadhu or honest man is called a Mahajan. In the material world, the word Mahatma is understood in different ways. Mundaners come up with their different angles of vision. For the conditioned soul busy in sense gratification, a Mahajan is recognized according to the proportion of sense gratification he offers. For instance, a businessman may consider a certain banker as a Mahajan. He may not call him that, but he does in his behavior. He looks up to him. And karmis desiring material enjoyment consider philosophers like Jaimini as Mahajans, because they justify or they give directions whereby they can fulfill their material desires. Anyone who does that is our hero, practically. Be it a musician, a sportsman, a politician, a finance person, no matter who it is, basically anyone. We basically worship them. There are many yogis who want to control the senses. For them, Patanjali is a Mahajan. For the Gyanis, the Kapila, the Shishta, Durvasa, Dattatreya, and other impersonalist philosophers are Mahajans. For the demons, Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu, tomorrow is the Tirubal of Hiranyakashipu. It's just Tirubal tomorrow. Well, he's a great soul. This morning we're reading 7th Canto of Bhagavatam. And he's addressed as Shri Hiranyakashipu Vacha. Shri. What did Prabhupada say? In translation, what was the word he used? Huh? He didn't use the word beautiful. What was the exact word he used? The blessed, the word he used, the blessed Hiranyakashipu spoke. Prabhupada used the word blessed. You may not think he's so blessed. The demons may think he's blessed. And Prabhupada is using it from another angle. He's a great soul, taking the role of a demon, of course, in this particular case. So different people see different prejudices. So to some people, Darwin is a Mahajan. Different persons look differently. The scientists, they may look to Hawkins or Dawkins or somebody. Like that. Thus, on the material platform, animalistic leaders are worshipped by animals. Sometimes physicians, psychiatrists, and social workers try to mitigate bodily pain, distress, and fear, but they have no knowledge of spiritual identity and are bereft of a relationship with God. Yet they are considered Mahajans by the illusioned. Fame amongst the infamy. Put someone on the throne, but basically they're just like a dog or a jackal. Prabhupada, right, we'll hear that tonight, but I just mentioned it. And Srila Prabhupada said, we're not here to get recognition by a pack of asses. We're here to get a certificate from Krishna. This man has done some service for me. We may not even want that, but that's the idea. In other words, what we want is to please Krishna, not to please a pack of asses. Those are Prabhupada's words. Self-deceived persons sometimes accept leaders or spiritual masters from a priestly order that has been officially appointed by the codes of material life In this way they are deceived by official priests. Sometimes people accept as Mahajans Dunga Vipras, those who are designated by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur as Dunga Vipras, impostor Brahmins. Such impostors imitate the characteristics of Haridas Thakur and envy Haridas, who was a real Mahajan. They make official endeavours, and then it goes on, describing various ways that we're cheated in this material world. And the real secret, the Vaishnava or real Mahajan, or real great soul, is by their behaviour. And that behaviour is not just a material relative behaviour, but it's by their actual behaviour of awakening in the hearts of others, Krishna consciousness in the hearts of everyone around them. And Madhavendra Puri is the personification of that. Jayananda Prabhu was practically the personification of that in our own ISKCON society. Such a great soul. So we should try to take advantage of that. Maybe on Monday we'll hear more about Madhavendra Puri and his glorious devotional service. But the essence of this is that we should try to always, as Jayananda Prabhu himself was, whenever anyone would praise him, he would walk away. When anyone would criticize him, he would take it seriously. When anyone would criticize anyone else, he would walk away. And when anyone would praise someone else, he would be very happy to hear it. This is the nature of a devotee, a great soul. What makes one great is that one is following the great. Otherwise we have nothing to offer. What makes the wood fire is it comes into contact with fire. Hare Krishna. So please join us this evening if you can. And tomorrow we're having, as I mentioned before, we're having a firework display tomorrow morning. Please join us for the fireworks tomorrow morning, starting at 7:30 tomorrow, 7:40, whatever it is tomorrow morning. The firework display begins. Huh?
After darshan? Yeah, it's just during the Srimad Bhagavatam class, so start at 7:40.
Yes, it will go on, and we'll have a class first.
Yeah, and then
there will be the fireworks.
Yeah. The timing is similar to Srimad Bhagavatam class. Starting
It'll take longer than Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Starts at the same time. Immediately after Guru Puja at the Radha Gopinath temple. We're going to have a, hopefully, we're hoping those fireworks. We're hoping that the fireworks. When we get into the fire, as Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, devotion service is like this blazing fire which burns to ashes all the reactions to one's sinful activities. We have to get into the fire of devotional service. Kechit kevaya bhaktya vasudeva prana gandam tvansi karchnena yaharam eva bhaskara. Agandam tvansi karchnena burns or removes all the sinful reactions right down to the root. We've got to get in the fire. So we hope that Sunday morning we can get into tomorrow morning, into that fire and burn out many of those, if not all, at least many of those deep down roots of material attachment in this world. Extinguish that blazing fire of material existence. Hare Krishna. I'd like to read the whole purport, but in no time. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Jayananda Prabhu ki jai, Shri Madhavendra Puri Prabhu ki jai, Gopal Premanande, Hare Krishna. And we have some gifts. Please now take the book here.